This week I've been working with some co-workers that I don't usually work with. As we've got to know each other, a few times I've noticed I'm being watched. Now it all started one lunchtime when I said, "Ooh, I wonder what's in my sandwich today," and got the response, "How do you not know what's in your own sandwich?" Hello. My name is Ian Currey and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. Have you ever done something that seemed quite normal to you and people around stop and stare, and those looks are asking, "What are you doing?" Things that are perfectly normal to me are perhaps less than acceptable to those around me. One lovely example is putting mayonnaise on French fries or chips. Here in America, when I do that, I'm quite likely to get a sideways glance or two. It's something I learned to do in Holland. You should try it. It's lovely. Now, as an Englishman, I'm well aware of something called a chip butty. That's such a better name for it than calling it a French fry sandwich. Ooh, yucky. Cultural preferences are just one thing that make us different. Instead of turning my nose up at the different ways people do things, or just accept that people are different, I long ago decided to celebrate diversity. That does not mean I'll start eating herring in the way that my Dutch friends do, but at the same time, who would have thought just a few years ago we'd see sushi in every supermarket and hummus? Now that's such a lovely treat in our house, but it isn't all that long ago that if I'd asked for hummus in a supermarket, I'd have been given a blank look. Today, I'm not just thinking about strange foods or international culture, but the ways we are, the things that make us individual, those diverse quirks, if you like. These are the things that are not just to be tolerated, but are worth celebrating. Celebrating diversity is perhaps a way to start to appreciate the very many different ways God has made us. Now, of course, some of those watching will turn up their nose and say, "Ooh, that's just not right. I couldn't be doing with that." Look, I'm not asking you to stop putting salt and vinegar on your chips. Don't worry. That's lovely too, by the way. No, I'm just saying that once we realize there are other ways of doing things that are fun too, you might just offer mayonnaise next time I visit and you serve French fries. No. Is that it? Enjoy a few quirky eating habits and we'll all live happily ever after? Do you remember how I started today? I didn't know what was in my own sandwich. Do you know why? It's of course because I didn't make the sandwich. Hillary made it for me. Surely I'm quite capable of making my own sandwich. Well, yes, I think perhaps I've done that once or twice more often than I should. So why does Hillary make my lunch when I could easily do it myself? Is it that Hillary is better at it and the sandwich will taste better? No? Well, perhaps then it's because it's her turn to make lunch. I made it the day before. On that basis, I could see an argument brewing. My sandwich takes longer because it has more in it or something. How silly. No, the sandwich got made while I was doing something else. And that was because Hillary has decided that her way of celebrating our diversity is to serve me in that way. Her gifting for hospitality spills over into serving me in that lovely way. God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. Ian, the dryer isn't drying is an opportunity for me to use my gifting to serve Hillary. Well, to serve the whole family, because I want dry clothes too. Some of my friends think this is stereotyping. The woman gets to do the housework and the man gets to go out and make a living. How very 1950s. In our house, that's not the case at all. If clothes need mending, it's much more likely to be me with needle and thread in hand. I love doing that, and usually I'm quite good at it too. Of course, there are things that neither of us like to do and can't do well, but that's when we serve one another and figure it out. When I come home from a busy day and find Hillary needing a rest too, I may very well cook dinner to give Hillary a break. If I'm late home and Hillary's had to go somewhere, there'll often be a lovely little note on the refrigerator door and a nice meal hiding inside. Lovely. I'm often asked how we've stayed married for so long. We married in 1984, so that's long ago, I suppose. The internet was invented about the same time. Ooh, that makes me feel even older. Ooh, long ago. While I'm sure there are many imperfections in our relationship, in me especially, I think the secret has been that we've both constantly looked for ways to make each other successful. Hillary isn't looking out for herself. She's wanting the best for me. And at the same time, I'm looking for ways to motivate Hillary in all that she does and is capable of doing. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. But just pulling a sentence or two out of the Bible to back up what we do is hardly all there is to it. No, of course not. There's more. And let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another. That sentence is often used to encourage us to go and hang out with like-minded people. But surely that applies to me and Hillary as a couple too. Doing things together, intentionally. Even if sometimes I would rather be doing something else. Do you see that next part? Encourage one another. So when Hillary is making cards, I'll come along and take a look, perhaps help out with something and encourage her, motivate her. In the same way, when I'm building something in the garage or fixing up the trains in the basement, a lovely cup of tea will often arrive and the inspector will come along to see what I'm up to. We take an interest in what each other is doing, and you'd be amazed how often we bring a new way of looking at things to each other's hobbies. That advice in the Bible seems to be spot on. But look again. Look at the sentence right before the ones we've just looked at. Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. While the principles do apply to everyday life, there's far more to it. The promise talked about there is that of God promising to stick with us no matter what, to provide a way out of difficult situations and conflict. While we too have our fair share of bumps and potholes in the road we travel, we've learned to travel life's road. while leaning on each other. Now, it's easy to say, oh, it's well for you, you're married. But no, I'm actually not just talking about being married. Finding people that are unselfishly willing to spur us on without having motives that really aren't pure is so important. A friend that has my best interest in mind, or a family member that can see how to help us through a difficult patch in the road. Yes, there is God too, but his plan seems to be for us to follow after him and his ways, spurring one another on together. Until next time.